It's the fifth year of the playoff. I look back at who's been left out in the first 4 years. You care to guess which conference, which of the Power Five been left out the most?
In
the
what?
First 4 years of the playoffs.
All right, Power Five conferences are Big Ten, Pac-12, Big 12, ACC, and SEC.
Correct.
Well, it's definitely not the SEC.
They have never been left out.
No.
Could that happen this year? Is there any way possible the SEC could be left out?
Clemson's been represented like 3 years in a row. I'm going to say the Pac-12.
Pac-12 only missed 1 year, year two.
Really?
Yep.
Big Ten?
Only missed 1 year last year.
Why don't you just tell me? Is it Big 12?
Big 12 missed year one and year three. But I was thinking about the possibility. What is the perfect scenario for Michigan? And the perfect scenario for Michigan, and Michigan fans can debate this if they care to, but I think you want to root for somehow, some way, either Pitt to beat Clemson in the ACC title game, or South Carolina to beat Clemson in their rivalry game, or Duke, who's got a little fight in them, to rise up and upset Clemson. And Clemson doesn't have three cakewalks. I think they'll win all three games. But ideally, if Clemson loses a game, that bumps Alabama stays at 1, Notre Dame presumably goes to 2, and Michigan's at 3. Isn't the Michigan-Notre Dame rematch, you think, what most people would – I mean, isn't that what you want?
No.
Not what you want.
Oh, I'm sorry. What people want to see or what Michigan fans want?
What Michigan fans would want.
Well, I think that they'd want to avoid Alabama in the first round without a doubt.
That's a big motivational piece as well.
Yeah, so if you're looking for teams for them to avoid, I think they'd want to avoid playing Alabama or Clemson.
And to get Notre Dame, I think.
Yeah, to get Notre Dame. Well,
Notre Dame's better than they were.
Hold on. Careful what you wish for.
Well, you're not going to play a cupcake in the playoff. You want Notre Dame because they played them close the first time around in their place. Michigan's better, but so's Notre Dame. Ian Book has definitely been more of a passing threat. I don't know if he can play much better than Wimbush played in the first half of that game. However, they've also had Dexter Williams come back, so now Book's been injured. So that's the dream matchup right there. But Dexter Williams has been their best player. He was suspended for the first game, leading rusher now.
I don't think Michigan fans are looking for jockeying for positions in the top 4. I think for them, they wouldn't care if Alabama beat Georgia. All Michigan fans want is Michigan to get in the top 4. Period. I think asking anything more, it's almost like they'd be pushing their luck and feeling a little greedy if that's the case.
Go ahead and be greedy is what I'm saying.
No, just beat Ohio State and things should fall into place.
In some ways, that might be enough as well. 248-539-9797. Ethan in Roseville, you're on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Ethan.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Well, you are talking about the topic that I called in about, and I just was wanting to get your thoughts on it. If Michigan were to beat Ohio State and then win the Big Ten championship game the week after that, I'm just wondering, even though we have the loss to them, is that not enough for us to leapfrog Notre Dame, even though they have the head-to-head win against us?
Personally, I don't think you should. Otherwise, why do you even play the game? And Notre Dame would I'm presuming.
Well, I guess the counter to that would be the fact that they aren't in a conference, so they didn't have a conference championship game to play.
Yeah, but look at the conference championships game. It's going to be against Northwestern, a team that's lost 4 times.
Oh, yeah, and we've already beat them.
Right,
and
so
I understand that. That
game
help.
It's almost like the Big Ten championship game doesn't have a whole lot of cachet to it at all, given that it's Northwestern.
It's only a potential disaster for Michigan.
Yeah. It's only a pitfall. It's not.
It really
it's
won't boost their resume. I'll say this, Ethan: is Michigan? If Michigan and Notre Dame each have 1 loss, then your question is, that'd be one hell of a debate, because I'm going to presume that Michigan will leapfrog Notre Dame if Notre Dame loses a game, even though Notre Dame won the head-to-head.
I think the committee is already on the precipice of wanting to put, because of the eye test. I think the committee is already wanting to put Michigan in that number 3 spot, but obviously they can't.
No. Right now, with an undefeated Notre Dame team who beat Michigan?
No, and that's why I think they're still at 3, and I think they will stay. I think you guys are right. I think they will stay at 3, even if Michigan does win out and they win out. I think they'll stay at 3. But I think if Notre Dame loses, I don't think they make the playoff.
No, I agree with that. If Notre Dame loses, they're probably out.
Yeah, they're not making the playoff if they lose one game because they don't have a conference championship game to rebound on.
No, they don't. Syracuse is a top 15 team in a playoff standing, so that's
they're number 12.
That's a test. That's going to be at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be an emotional game.
Syracuse is fun to watch offensive.
Syracuse is a very fun team to watch. They're well coached. I think they'll give them a run, but I mean, I'm not going to pick them to win the game, but I mean, I think they'll give them a run.
Yeah,
it's a good offensive team.
I got to tell you, the strength of schedule, it could change by the end of the year, okay? I would love to see a team get left out because of a weak strength of schedule, even an undefeated team, because of a weak strength of schedule.
I don't think you're going to.
Here's what I'm fearful of. I think the system should be set up to encourage, because the scheduling inequities are so great, I would like to see the system set up where you are encouraged to schedule difficult games. Because let's say Georgia does beat Alabama and leapfrog Michigan, and Alabama gets the nod over Michigan, and Alabama, if they have a weaker strength of schedule, the message to Michigan is, should have scheduled the Citadel instead of Notre Dame. And I want the message to be, should have scheduled Notre Dame instead of the Citadel. Of course, I'm also in favor of non-conference scheduling being taken out of the school's hands. Let the NCAA try and put together relatively equitable schedules. That'll never happen.
Well, as time's going on, I think it's a real popular thing to say that Alabama's schedule is weak, and I don't think it's weak. I don't think it's anywhere near as weak as people say it is.
Well, it's because it's getting better.
But I think we knew this.
They've gone from a strength of schedule in the 50s to the 40s to now I believe they're high 30s. I've watched their strength of schedule get better because teams are playing, keep winning, and they'll also play a very highly regarded Georgia team before this is all said and done.
I mean, as the season's gone on here, they played A&M in the 4th week of the season. A&M was ranked 22nd at the time. Now, A&M has 4 losses, but do you know who their 4 losses are to? It's to like Clemson, Alabama,
LSU.
They play LSU at the end of the season, but there's 2 other teams, like Auburn and somebody else in Kentucky that was ranked. Or they beat Kentucky, and then they have a loss to I forget who the other team is, but their 4 losses are to decent teams.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, Alabama, I've watched their strength of schedule.
Mississippi State's
it is improving. Alabama might not be the team that's in trouble with strength of schedule. It could be, I don't know, Notre Dame, could be Clemson. But Bama's is getting better if you haven't been paying attention. I have to look it up. All right.